Hello, there we go. I think we are live. Hopefully, I see some people popping in. Oh, there we go. Here we go. My name is Philip. You may have seen me if you've watched any of our other webinars. I've been on a bunch of them. My face likes to pop up a whole bunch. But today we are going to be talking about labels and stuff, which is really cool. And I'm joined by two lovely ladies who are going to help out. So if you'd like to introduce yourselves too.
Yeah, sure, I can start. So, hi, my name is Núria. I'm from Lisbon, Portugal. I'm part of the support team here in Lisbon. So, we have two teams, one in Toronto, one here in Lisbon. And I haven't done a webinar in ages. So, you might have not seen my face around, but here it is.
And we like the cat ears. The cat ears
Yes,
are
cat ears for life.
extra special.
Yeah, a petition for Nuria to be more in webinars, sign going out to everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So, hi everybody. My name is Pooja, and I am from the Toronto team. I am your CSM, your customer success manager. You might have talked to me in the past, troubleshooting ideas, a little bit support, a little bit technical issues. So, yeah, that's the Pooja that you guys have been talking to.
Well, it's nice to let people put faces to names, hopefully, and everything like that. We've got some exciting stuff to go over today. This is one of the things I've been super excited for. I know a lot of people have been. We kind of spent a long time with only being able to work with Dymo labels and stuff, so it's a nice breath of fresh air to be able to work with a bunch of different printers and label makers and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean it's 11:05. I guess we should get started. This is fairly free form. We will got a bunch of slides that we'll go over. I will demo how to do a lot of the stuff as well. If any of you have questions, pop them into the chat at any point. We will try and answer them here on live, I guess, kind of thing. So you can definitely do that. So today, the main thing that we are talking about is labels, how you design them, how you print them, and this is our new way of doing it. In the past, unfortunately, we only had a connection with Dymo, where you had to use this lovely piece of software to create and design labels, but unfortunately, that meant it would only work with Dymo printers. And then Dymo came out with a newer version of their software that would only work on their new printers, and they took away a lot of the features that we needed to be able to integrate with it. So things stopped working. So we needed a solution. So we're going to go over how you can set up everything with inFlow to be able to print labels, how you can design them, and we can design one live. And then, yeah, just kind of go over. And again, if anyone has questions or anything like that, then definitely let us know in the chat and we will go over it. Okay, so the first thing to know about the new labels is that we do have a small little program that you need to download and install called the inFlow Print Helper. What is that? It is basically just a little thing that needs to run on one computer, whichever computer you have connected to your label printer. This is what allows our inFlow program to actually know where that printer is and be able to send like the labels and everything to that printer. So it does have to be installed on a computer that's connected to the printer. This can be either wired or wireless, so anything like that. But a couple things that you do want to keep in mind is that the computer has to be on during the workday and doesn't go to sleep, or workday anytime that you want to be able to print labels essentially. So you don't want it to be on like somebody's laptop that's going to get disconnected and moved or something like that, or again, like make sure that it's not one that's going into sleep, because when it's in sleep mode, unfortunately then we won't be able to print to it. And we do actually have it available for both Windows and Mac OS, so you can install it on either one and be able to use it that way. So this is where you actually go to download the print helper itself. So we log into our web app at app.inflowinventory.com. From there, when you go into the settings under inventory, as you can see there, printing and setup for labels. And then from here, you'll be given the option to download for either Windows or Mac, and I'll show you that in a few seconds. Installing it is really, really simple. We've tried to make this as painless as a process as we can. Just like any other program, you would double click on it, click next kind of thing to install, if you want to install it just to the default folders and everything like that. And then essentially that's all you have to do. It's going to run in the background. There are a couple of things that you do kind of have to do to get it working, and we will go over that as well. One of the most important things is that you do have to log into the inFlow print helper, so that it knows what account you're actually accessing, and that's what gives the other people on your same inFlow account the ability to print to that printer. So to do that, you actually just right click on the print helper icon, choose login. It's going to open up in a window, and then you can just log in with your regular inFlow Cloud login like you normally do, and then it'll just tell you to close. We have added like little convenience things too to make it so that it'll automatically run when you open up your computer and stuff like that too, and you can turn that on and off just by right clicking again on the icon. So again, pretty simple. Everything should sound nice and easy. And I just wanted to kind of show what it looks like on Mac. I believe it's at the top in your menu bar, and you got this little inFlow icon. So when you click on it, you get the option to log in or to open it. And then again, in Windows, it's usually at your bottom right. Again, you may have to click like the little arrow to see your extra icons. And when you right click on it, then you get the same options. And then once you've done that, you should now be all set up, and you'll see this nice little confirmation that says that you've launched it, that your login is complete, that you can now print. But if not, we have a few things that you can do to try and troubleshoot it. So troubleshooting, one of our favorite things in the world, right? And I mean, on the support team, we're happy to help you anytime. So if you do have issues, you can always reach out to us at support@inflowinventory.com. And we do actually have an article that goes over all of these steps as well, which I have right here, and I'll paste in the chat.
I was just going to say that we had that GIF over there, but that's the absolute last resort. Please reach out to us first. You don't have to throw your computer away.
Yeah. I thought that one was funny.
Yeah, really.
So yeah, just kind of a quick few overview of like the troubleshooting things to always check. And again, I'll run over these again in the demo just to show you live. But you always want to make sure first that the inFlow print helper is running. If it's not, then you just have to search for it and open it. You want to make sure that it's logged in, because if it's not, then again, inFlow is not going to know which account it should be giving access to. So you just have to right click, choose login. If that's still not working, then try closing the inFlow print helper, which you can do by right clicking and quit, or you can force close it by like Control-Alt-Delete on Windows and click force close. And then there is also an option that you can make sure that it's up to date. So there is, if there's an update available, there'll actually be like a little option on there that you can click to update it. So obviously keeping your software up to date is something that we all know in troubleshooting and tech support and stuff like that. So always want to make sure that you're on the latest version. So now we will do a quick demo. I've already uninstalled it actually from my computer, so I don't have it. But as I was saying, it's nice and easy to get to. You log into your inFlow web account. You can either click on your email address, or from the side menu, go down to options. From here, under not order, sorry, I always click there, inventory. We've got this nice little labels section here, and we click on printing and setup. This is going to give you the option to download. So again, if you're on a Mac, you can download the Mac one. I'm on Windows, so I would click download for Windows. And here, this is also where you can check your status. So at any point, if you go back to that same thing, so under inventory, printing and setup, this is where you can see. So right now it's saying launch inFlow Cloud Print and log in, because my connection is pending. So right now it's saying I don't have an open connection. I'm not able to actually print yet. So I'm going to launch that thing I just downloaded. It's going to come up nice and easy. As I said, next, you can change where it installs if you want, but I always just usually keep the default. And it should be super, super fast, just like that, already installed. And then if you want to click this, it'll automatically launch it. Otherwise, if we don't, it's not going to show, I think, on that window, but I can just search up inFlow Print Helper. As soon as I click it, it does not actually show anything on the screen right away. And actually, now that I think about it, I can. Okay, so this I right clicked on it and chose login, and it just automatically actually logged me in, which is great. I didn't think about that, but it won't actually show my system tray on here. So all you have to do is just down at the bottom of your screen on Windows, or again at the top on Mac, you click on the icon, and that's where you get those options. I've got log out, open inFlow Print Helper, launch at login, and then so any of those will work. Now that I have logged in, though, if I go back to my options, it's actually going to show right there. It already updated, login complete. My inFlow Print Helper is connected, so I'm ready to begin printing labels. So super, super simple, super easy. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Again, if you do, you can put them into the chat. I know so far it's been pretty standard. So we can continue on there. So next, we've got it installed. How do we design and print the labels? One of the really cool things that we're really excited about with this is that there are so many different elements that you can now add to your labels, and we're possibly able to add more things in the future depending. So I mean, I don't know if anyone here has used the label designer already. If there are things that maybe you think would benefit, or if there's something that's missing, definitely let us know. We love taking product feedback, and our teams use that to kind of try and plan out what features we might add in the future. So again, if you want to give us any suggestions, you can definitely let us know. But kind of the main fields that we have on there is like text, which you can do like your product name, your SKU, your description. Barcodes, which can be anything, so like your barcode, your SKU, your serial numbers. You can actually even put QR codes as your barcode. You can put your product image. Excuse me, sorry about that. You can put your product image. You can actually even put like little shapes and stuff if you wanted to design and have some kind of like little pattern or anything on there. You can also then set the label size, so set it to the same label that you're going to be using from your printer, and you can adjust the margins.
While you're drinking water, we do have a question in the chat, which I think you'll be able to answer in the next section. So Chris is asking, is there a way to wrap text in a text box? I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, we can definitely take a look at that. Off the top of my head, I don't believe so. I believe with the text, if it's too long, it'll get cut off and it puts like the 3 dots. But we can also definitely double check. I see Joe saying that his does wrap to a certain point and then it just cuts the rest off and is replaced with the dots. Yeah. We can test that out as well too. I'm not sure if it has anything to do with like how wide you have it. But yeah, we'll definitely try that out. So accessing it from the exact same spot where we installed the inFlow Print Helper, you just go to Options Inventory and then click on Manage Labels. And then from here, you can either create yours from like a completely blank template, or we do have some kind of pre-done ones that you can then open up and then modify as you need. So hopefully just makes things a little faster. Just kind of a couple quick points on it is that you can change the label size easily, and it is like a live preview of it, so it will try and show you accurately how well they will fit on the label. You can also rotate them if needed. So if you click on an element, it'll have like a little dot at the top. If you grab that, you can actually kind of drag it like a circle, and I can show you that as well. You can also choose which product to use as like your preview so that you can see all the details filled in live. And then, we have on here. So if something is too long to fit, it'll be cut off and it'll put like the ellipses, the 3 dots to show that there is more text. And then how you can actually print them, you can actually print them directly from the label designer. So down here on the left, you can print from the product record itself, or you can print from purchase orders. So you can kind of print from 3 different areas inside inFlow itself. And then what's fantastic about this is that most printers should work. We do recommend thermal label printers just because they're generally faster, and you can print them onto like the already pre-done like sticky stuff that you can just peel off and stick on there. We've tested with these specific printers, so the Dymo 450 and the 550. The 450 unfortunately is discontinued, so that one you probably won't be able to find, but the 550 is their current one. We've tried a brother, the QL 1110 WB and the Zebra GK420. So those we know are some kind of like the biggest ones out there, but it should essentially work with the majority of other ones out there as well. I see Sean here saying the Dymo 4XL has been working flawlessly too, so that's fantastic. Thank you. All right. So, as I had said, to access the label designer and stuff, again, you just go to your options under inventory, and then you can click on manage labels. This will bring you to this screen here. So again, all these ones down here at the bottom, these are kind of like the pre-done ones that you can use as a template. So you can click on any of them and then adjust it as you need. And then any of the ones you save will be saved up here at the top. So just for this, we might as well try, let's make a new one. Now it will ask you when you're doing a new one, what's the size of your label? A lot of them, so like here, I'm using a Dymo printer at home. On it itself, on the back, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. It actually gives me kind of like the dimensions of it and everything like that, so you can try and match it up by putting those in there. So on this guy, we are 89, which we're already there, by 28, so pretty close. And so now this is actually, again, as I said, showing kind of like a live preview of it. So right now we do have margins set up, which is what these little yellow dots are. So it's kind of trying to just to leave a little bit of space around the side. That is something that you can adjust. So if you wanted to have less of a margin, you can put those in, which allows you to have more stuff to fit on the label. But again, the closer you get to the edges, you may have some issues when you're actually printing it out, depending on how fine your printer is or how like specific. And then you've got all your elements up here. You can always adjust your label size if you need. So if you picked the wrong size to begin with. But then, yeah, the main things is you got your elements up here at the top. So we can kind of go over them one by one. So if I just click on text, it's going to add in a text box. Like most editors that you would be used to working with, you can click and drag to move it around. You've got all the different resizing options. So I can make it small or I can make it big. If you make it something, say, like across the whole label here, you can set like your justifications as well. So if you want it in the center, and then this one here is actually if you want to line it up in the actual label itself. So like, let's say I wanted it in the center of the label, I could click there. Or if I want it at the top, it'll move the whole element itself. So we probably don't need the name too long. And this is actually probably a good time to show. So right now it's already putting in Wonder Woman's cell phone. This is a product actually that I have in my store. And if I click back right here at the bottom, we've got preview products. So this allows you to pick from the different items you have in your inFlow already that you can then use to preview these items. So like if instead I wanted to preview like my Rockstar product or anything like that, then we can go in here. Again, we can choose what field we want it to be. So I want this to be the name. So that'll show on there. Let's add another text box, maybe below. Let's make that the SKU. That'll have that. And then you can, again, like you can add as many as you want. And then the cool thing with it, again, is that you can set up whatever you want. So again, we've got name, SKU, description, serial number, custom fields, prices, locations. One thing to note with sublocation, the sublocation will only show if you are doing a serialized product. Just because we have more information about each serial number, and each serial number can obviously be in a location and a sublocation. So that one will only work with serialized products, but you can show the category, the barcode, unit of measurement, dimensions. So pretty much any of that information that you could get on your product details page can be brought into here. So maybe we'll put the description as well. And this is looking pretty bare, so let's add on a barcode. And we can put it beside. Again, you can resize this to make it fit however you need. From here, you can, with the barcodes, you have a couple choices of what type of barcode you want it to display as. Like if I want it as an EAN or like a UPC or something like that, then it will update it. And again, it's pulling these numbers live right now from my product itself. I can then also, again, you can use a QR code if you want. So QR, again, I could use it as the barcode. Barcodes and QR codes are really just picture representations of information. So it could be anything. So you don't have to have this being like the actual barcode. Somebody could scan it and go to like a link if you wanted or something like that. So again, you could kind of put in like your own freeform text or whatever. So we could go to like, if I can type inflowinventory.com, and then so if somebody scanned this this QR code, then it would actually just open their web browser on their device and go to inflowinventory.com. Last but not least, we've got images, which is really cool. So this will use the default image that's part of the product itself. So we can move this around, maybe put the product picture on the side. It's probably.
Since we're also talking about images, I wanted to bring up, we do have a few questions on chat. I'm just waiting for the right moment to pop them up.
Sure, go right ahead.
Chrissy did ask, product image on labels, can this be a PDF? So the images are being taken directly from your inFlow records, and as such, you have to upload an actual image to inFlow. So I'm afraid it cannot be a PDF, but correct me if I'm wrong, Phil. I don't think I'm wrong.
No, you're correct. So this right now, so we can switch back and forth between this, but so this is the actual product I have here. So this is going to be just pulling directly from whatever image or anything like that I've added to the product itself. And again, when it's doing the label, it'll, if I had multiple, it'll do the like the default or like the first picture on there. Cool. So yeah, so again, like maybe make this look a little nicer. We don't want things to overlap with the QR code. Oops. We do also support like your regular undo and redo and everything, so you can click them from the top there, or like Control Z and stuff. So again, we've tried to make this as easy to use as possible. And yeah, and I mean here we can see I've got it set where my barcode is going a little bit over the margin. I'm pretty sure my label printer should be able to handle that. I could adjust the margin if I wanted, so I could put the bottom to like 0 or 2 or whatever like that, but it should hopefully still be able to print it, and we can actually try that as well too. So yeah, the only other one then is shapes. So you can either add lines, circles, or squares. Again, this would be like if you wanted to just like design something, like maybe you wanted to have the actual, like, if I can click, make your square all the way around your actual thing, so you have like a nice little border or something when it prints out. Or again, you could do like circles and stuff. And what I had mentioned before, that you can rotate things. So now that I've clicked on the item and it's highlighted, this little dot that pops up here, so not the one that's the resizing, but right above it, if I click on it, then you can actually rotate around, so you could have something completely. This obviously would not print well, but yeah, I mean, if you wanted to rotate, say something like your barcode or something like that, you could have it like sideways on your label or something. So depending on how your labels are set up. Yeah, so I think that looks pretty decent. We've got pretty much most of the stuff we want. We've got the name, the SKU, the description, and the barcode, as well as an image and a QR code. So from up here, this is where you would want to then name it, and this is what's going to save it. So we can name this webinar label. I can hit save. And now if I close this, this is actually going to be saved in my label designs that I can access anytime. So if you want to edit it again, you can click on edit, go back into it, rearrange stuff, move things around however you need. Or you can also delete them if you don't want them anymore. So if you hover over them, you can click the little X at the top and that'll get rid of them. And then, yeah, so as I had said, you can actually print from a few different spots. So because I'm actually able to preview my products here, I can choose one. So again, like that, if I hit print, it's going to come up, give me the print options so I can choose my my printer. This should be my correct one. And is that my right size? 3.5 inch. That should be the right size. I hit print. It's going to send it to my printer, and cool. And I just printed out my label right there, and you can see we've got like the little line around it and stuff like that. Got the QR code, so if somebody scanned that QR code, it'll pull up inflowinventory.com. And yeah, it's pretty much as simple as that.
Phil, I do have a question. It's my turn to have a question. So
Sure.
you you showed your label, but because the square is below the margin, does it appear or was it cut off?
So yeah, that's a good question. So at the very bottom, it did cut it off.
Okay.
So it's a little hard to see there, but yeah, but it's also like right up to the label kind of thing. So we could actually try, just for the sake of trying. If I put this at 0, so we go all the way to the edge, and now just try printing it again. If that makes a difference or not. So no, I think so with mine it's still going a little bit too low. So if I wanted it to have the border all the way around, I would have to move things up probably a little bit on there just because I just don't have enough physical space on that label itself. I see.
You.
Yeah, no problem. Heather there was asking if we can add pricing.
I have the chat a little bit up, but you can go ahead with that one. But then I have a challenge for you, which comes from a question on chats.
Cool. Sounds good. So yeah, so if just quickly there, because I did see Heather ask, then yeah, if you click on like add like a text field or something like that, then you can choose to add it in as a price. And from here, you would actually be able to see like your different like pricing schemes that you have on inFlow. So you could then add in the price as well.
Okay, cool. So Steve, a while ago, was asking how to combine fields. For instance, height, width, length come from 3 different fields. He wants to create a field that would put the 3 behind each other, an X in between, and then inch in the end. So I don't think we can have a full field that represents all of this, but maybe we can combine a few fields, like we're cutting and pasting stuff around.
Sure, let me see. So let's just put in something. So I'm assuming he's talking about like the length, width, height fields of our actual products kind of thing.
I'm assuming so as well.
So let's just say, I don't know what this is, 3, definitely not 3 centimeters, let's say 30 centimeters. I don't know, 10 and 10, just so we have some numbers. Save that. And so if we go to, where are we? Got the text. We got the unit of measurements. Oh, dimensions. There we go.
Yeah.
So there is one that's length times width times height, and that automatically will put all 3 together and have the X's in between. It is also going to follow the dimensions that you have set. So in your options itself, dimensions and weight, so you can set. So right now I'm set on metric for my dimensions and metric as well for my weight, but you could change to like imperial if you wanted inches and feet, and that would then affect how like your products and everything are shown. Otherwise, I mean, you could manually do it yourself if you wanted. So you could add one text box with the length, which would give me 30 centimeters. I could go back, I could add another text box, put it beside it, with just my own custom text. So if I wanted like just an X, that there, and then again, add another one, and you could so on and so forth kind of thing. So you'd be able to then customize it and create it that way. So you could put 3 or 4 or however many you need separately, like one next to each other, and customize it that way. Does that answer that? I think.
I do believe so. Steve did mention that he wanted to combine other elements. Oh, and now another comment. Yes, but the layout will suck as you have different number lengths.
Sure. Well, so I mean, again, that would be, I guess, like you can set how wide that it's going to go. So you would have fixed lengths that they're not going to overlap that, or again, having the like where it is actually doing it all together there for you might be the easiest, I guess, because that way you don't have multiple elements that you're trying to resize yourself.
Yeah, I just want to say that these things that you guys, the people that are watching the webinar, feel that are important, please leave them on chats, because we will send every feedback that we get to our team, and who knows, it might happen in the future.
Sure. And yeah, I mean, Joe, the only other thing I could think if you were doing something like that is having, if you're worried about how long and the length varies greatly, so like you could have anywhere from like 1 digit to like 5 or 6 or 7 digits like that or something like that. You could set it up so that you had them going vertically instead. So like you would put one text box for your length up top here, put your width, and then your height or anything that way. So the length of them would not ever overlap, and you could have them all like left justified or something, so they're all lined up at least like the starting point. That might be kind of one way, I guess. I know it's not the XXX kind of thing, but might be one solution around it.
I would also like to go back and chat a little bit, because we have
Sure.
quite a few questions. And
Yeah.
Erica did ask, will the type of barcode/QR make any difference in the function of the scanner? For example, the scan function has been finicky and sometimes will scan the barcode, but sometimes doesn't register. Would it help to change from a barcode to a QR code? Or is it maybe the scanner itself that they need to troubleshoot?
That's a great question. So actually, there's kind of a few different things. So depending on what type of a scanner you're using, so these different types of barcodes generally will have, I believe UPC is supposed to be, don't, I could be wrong, but off the top of my head, I believe UPC is 12 digits. I believe EAN is 13. So normally a UPC, it would add a 0 before it. So that can affect how it's scanning. So again, it may add like an extra character or something like that based on the type of barcode it is. You can adjust how big they are. So size will matter for when you are scanning them and how often like it'll be able to pick up. So with the barcode itself, I can pick between like small, medium, large, or extra large, which then you have to adjust the field sizes. So depending on how small your labels are, it could be an issue with how small the barcode itself is being printed. And it depends on the quality, to be honest, of the print, because when you are scanning, it's reading each of those lines and it's figuring out the digits from that. If they're too close together, or if it's too fine, or like it's smudged or something like that, it may not be able to differentiate those lines, so it wouldn't be able to pick up the barcode itself. In a lot of cases, though, QR codes are I guess like I don't know what the term would be. Like it's like the laziest, like the easiest thing for scanners to scan, I guess, kind of thing, because they have like 3 set points, and then everything else in there I think can be kind of moved around. So if you are having issues, yeah, maybe try a QR code, because a lot of cases that probably will scan easier.
John also has an interesting question. Is there a way to select multiple elements at once so you can move them all?
I don't believe we have that at the moment. That is a great feature though, like where you would normally hold like shift or like control or something like that to be able to grab them and move them. So yeah, that's definitely something we can add to our feedback. This again is kind of like our version one of this. So again, all the feedback you can give us, any of the different things like that, we want to make this better as we go along. So that's definitely a great point to have.
And Joe has a question that's a little bit more technical. So he's
Sure.
asking, why did inFlow elect to use the inFlow print helper instead of the built-in print capabilities in the OS?
No, and that's a fantastic question, and as you said, is a little more technical, but essentially what it's actually doing. So we are still using the built-in printer of the OS. So when we are printing, after you do everything in here and you hit print, it does still send it to like Windows or Mac or anything for their normal print like queue and stuff like that. What the print helper is essentially doing and why you have to log in is that. Um, I guess like the idea is actually here. I'll give an example, and I think that'll be the best way to do it. I work in a store or a warehouse or something like that. We've got 5 different users that all use inFlow, but we all print off of one label printer. The inFlow print helper itself, when I install it on my one computer that's hooked up to that printer, anybody else in the company who's logged into that same inFlow account, so not the same email address, just anybody on that same overall inFlow account can now print. Like inFlow knows that there is a printer hooked up and they can now print to that printer. So the computers themselves need to know nothing about the other computers or anything like that. I could be at home and I could still print to that label printer as long as the person's computer is still on and everything like that. So essentially, the print helper itself is what's connecting all the different inFlow accounts so that you don't have to be on that one specific printer, that you can print anyway.
And Joe does have a follow-up question. So in your hypothetical situation, the whole company is printing through your computer.
Yeah, well, you can actually install the print helper on multiple computers. If you have more than one label printer, you can then select when you are choosing your printouts to print to one of those different ones. But yeah, I mean, it depends. I guess one other situation where this might help it make more sense is that a project we are working on right now is being able to print from the mobile app. So from our actual inFlow mobile app as well, being able to print those labels. And so we need something to be able to communicate to the computers that have the printer on it, because the phones themselves wouldn't have that.
We do have a bunch of feature requests that we will send to our team. But Heather does have, it's not exactly a question, but it's like a workflow. So they're saying right now, to be able to print labels for our shelves in our warehouse, I need to convert the sheet of barcodes to a PDF, then edit it in Acrobat DC to size correctly, then cut and save each as a file, then paste into the Avery label templates. This is a labor-intensive process. We have business card size magnets that stick on our warehouse shelves. These labels on our shelves will help both our customers and us when we're doing inventory. But if I was going to say if I recall correctly, but when using the inFlow, not the print helper, sorry, our label creator, you can just bypass all of this, correct? You can just create the label in inFlow with your correct size and then just print it if we're considering that the Avery does hook up with your computer.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the problem, if I'm understanding it correctly, and I'm not sure if you've ever used an Avery one, but usually they're on like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with like 20 labels all on it. So you'd
Got
be
it.
looking at like 3 by 10 or whatever, so then you'd have 30 or something like that. So yeah, so no, with that kind of a workflow, yeah, unfortunately having to do it individually because I believe the way Avery usually works is that you would design your templates in like Word or something like that, like some kind of, and it's usually more like static information, I guess that way. So yeah, having to do it individually for each one, I could see taking up a bit of time. I don't know if we'd be able to have a solution like that in the future. Otherwise, what is 8.5? which is in millimeters. 215 millimeters. I mean, you could potentially try and set up like a template in this. Like you would set your actual paper size in here, and then you would have to design your, like repeat your, oh no, but that would do it all for one product. So that would not help. Yeah, I don't think there would be a much easier way to do it, unfortunately, at the moment. That is something though that we can definitely bring up to the team, and if we have like a lot of customers that are using the Avery products and stuff, maybe we can find some way of being able to make a solution like that.
Yeah, so I think we got all the questions on chats. Oh, we
Yeah.
just got one. Is it possible to print two kinds of different labels in one big page and then cut it?
So not unfortunately with like this part of the thing. Like the label designer itself is designed to print on like actual like label printers or anything like that, which is generally going to be doing like one at a time. So yeah, unfortunately, no, you wouldn't be able to do two separate ones at the same time.
Yeah. So we have yet another question. Can you do this in the barcodes and SKUs? Oh God, SKU, SKU print. I can't say it letter by letter.
Do which on there though? Do this in the barcodes and SKU print.
Yeah, I think it's just if we can add those elements, which is a yes. Unless Donald, if you want to elaborate your question.
I see Steve had one there. Will we be able to print other forms, example like box labels with this? So I mean, this is just built to be like an actual, again, like your labels that you're printing out. You can still print out different forms and stuff from inFlow, and so really that's just going to kind of, I guess, depend on your printer. This is not set up that you could add, like you can't like design or create like a box label, I guess, from that. So it's not going to be pulling any of like your sales order information and stuff like that. That would still just be the actual like built-in like documents and stuff that we have. So that would then have to fit on your label.
Yeah, so Donald did mention that his previous question about the barcodes and SKUs, oh God, would be with the business Avery format.
Business Avery format. To be honest, I'm not sure. I mean, if you want to email us, Donald, support at inflowinventory.com, maybe you can provide us some like screenshots and maybe a little more information on it. We can definitely look into it and see if it's something that's possible or not. Just at the moment, unfortunately, I'm not quite understanding, I guess, what the setup would be.
Yeah, so Pooja just left our email. If you have any specific questions, you can reach us directly and we will do the investigation that we have to and get back to you with the best answer that we can.
Cool. And I see Sean had a big one here. I have two issues with my labels in relation to the location. First issue is that the label will just print where the default location is set up regardless if there is inventory in that location or not. Second issue is that the label prints out with the default location, but the sub-location doesn't show up. Check the cloud-based and app-based. So yeah, so again, so with the sub locations that will only show, so I believe I can show on here. So I have a serialized product, my Wonder Woman cell phone here. This is a serialized one. If I go into like any of these locations, I can see that I have actual serial numbers here. If I wanted to print a label for this, and I go into the product itself, I'm going to see here actually a list of my serial numbers, and I can filter it by location. So I think I have some here. There we go. And I have the different templates I've set up. I did set up one in the past with serials on it. So right now, if I select, well, it won't update, sorry, on this preview, but it is actually going to print here. I'll just print it out. So the one I printed was store 11, which is this. I did barcode number 113432, which is this one here, which shows as backroom right. And so on the label itself, I know it's going to be hard to see, but I have it giving both the location and the sub-location there at the bottom. And then I had the serial number in the QR code. But essentially, so it can recognize the different locations and things like that. But again, it will only work with the sub-location will only work with the serialized products. And again, when I'm printing, I can filter by which ones I want to find as well too. So like these ones are all in my warehouse, or these ones are there. I don't think I have any here, so there'd be none to print. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Just trying to read the chat, see if there are other ones. I see some stuff going back and forth, so people chatting back and forth.
Full conversations in our chats.
Which is great. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other place that you can print would be from the purchase orders themselves, kind of directly. So you can go print labels. And then this will give you the option to choose like which products and everything that you want to be printing as well too. So you can still pick your template as well as like your paper size and everything like that. So and then this will then print out all the ones that you need based off of like the POs themselves. And it should, if you have like received them in different locations or anything. I don't know if I think all these ones went to warehouse. I could probably change on here. Let me change this to my Bloor store. So bouquet of flowers, that's fine.
I just want to say that Joe is really excited because they did not know you could print labels from POs, and that is awesome.
Yeah, and so like as you just saw in there too, it defaults to the amount that you received, but you can change. So like I only want to print one because I don't actually have a product called this or anything like that. There we go. Yeah, and then I mean this one I don't have all the information filled out on it or anything like that, but it can still print it out directly from the PO itself. So hopefully that would make it a little easier.
And Sean has a very interesting question, which is with the inFlow scanner, would I be able to print labels if I am working remotely in the field?
So that is a fantastic question.
Mm-hmm.
The answer right now, unfortunately, is not yet. But we are actively working on. There's a project I know going on right now where they are working on adding it actually just to our app. So you wouldn't even necessarily need our scanner directly. Just from the app, you'd be able to print either on Android or iOS, and it would be able to then print to again the computer that has it set up to the label printer.
Soon.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's actually coming up pretty soon. So it should be, yeah. So yeah, we got a few more slides here. I don't want to go too long. But again, if people do have questions, you can more questions. You can always reach out support@inflowinventory.com, and you can ask us questions at any point. So now recap and a quiz. Was everyone paying attention? I'm just kidding, but I'm curious at how many people are sweating or anything like that under the pressure, you know. So just the quick recap on it is that we're really excited about it. Again, it is kind of like a phase one for us, so we are open to expanding it and adding more features in the future. So again, your feedback that everyone's given already is fantastic. We will definitely record that and take that back to the team. But if you ever have suggestions about it or other areas of the program, again, to reach out to us either in our chats or support@inflowinventory.com. We love to hear that feedback. We literally have like a thing set up in our messaging system where we share it with the entire company. I know the CEOs and COO of the company look at every single one, and then we kind of use that to gauge how many people we can help with certain different things. So the more people that ask for something, then the better of a chance that it might get done. But yeah, with the new label system, It works with more printers, which is amazing because I know we had a lot of people before that didn't want to have or didn't have a Dymo or didn't want to get one or anything or couldn't get one when they discontinued it. So working with more printers is amazing. Lots of different elements for being able to hopefully design your perfect label. Again, if there are other things that you think we're missing, let us know. Maybe we can add them in the future. Having the option to quickly do those pre-made ones or design your own is great. And then printing from different computers on both Windows or Mac OS. So these are all things that we weren't able to do before, which hopefully will make things easier. Actually, I've always wanted to do kind of one of those, but wait, there's one more thing. My funny
What is
little
it?
graphic here. What is it? What could that be?
I'm so excited.
I know. So currently, this is very, very early in development, but we are working on building our very own wireless mobile label printer. So it will be a printer that has a battery, like rechargeable battery or something like that, that technicians and stuff like that could take around with them, or you could have around in a warehouse, move around on the go, that you would then be able to print from the app or from the desktop again, that two different size labels and stuff like that. So again, this is very early, and so we will have more information as we get closer, and we're finalizing all the details and stuff like that. And I'm assuming we will have some nice bright yellowy orange on there to make it nice and inFlow colored as well. But hopefully that's something that we can all be excited about as well too. So we'll already have released the mobile printing at that point, and this is just something else that we're definitely looking at doing in the near future. So, and yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much
cool.
for your feedback
Phil and Nuria
and all your
for
questions.
doing this.
Yeah, no problem. And
Thank
it's actually
you,
really cool.
both of you.
I see Sean in the chat saying that it's very cool that those are great for putting in their trucks and stuff like that. So we've got some exciting stuff for the label printer and everything like that. So yeah, hopefully everybody, you were able to learn something from it. And again, any questions, suggestions, feedback, stuff like that, send it in to us. We would be more than happy to either go over it with you, or again, we'll share it with our team and see what we can do.
Yep. Thank you so much once again.
Right. Okay, well, look at that. So just within the hour, perfect timing. With that, we will wrap up and awkward wave and say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.